Well, hi there. What can I say? We've had another 96 of these to manufacture and powder coat. But what I want to show you today is powder coating these bads. Okay. Believe it or not, it's a lot more difficult than you can imagine. Getting into these little crevices in there, brutal. Getting in there, brutal. What I'm going to do, if I can, one-handed, is show you how to do it and the settings that you need for your gun. And I'll show you my setting. Admittedly, mine's a Wagner gun, so you'll need to make the appropriate changes for whatever gun that you've got. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, these have had a pre-wipe already, so they have been pre-wiped. D8 over the top a little bit, just give it a little bit of a key. Then we'll hang it on this rack. When they're hung, I'll show you they're hung, and then I will show you down here settings that I've got for the Wagner gun. All right, so and I'll show you the easy way to do it, having learnt the hard way. So I'll be back shortly and I'll pick you up where we're hanging those panels. Okay, I hope you can hear me. It's very noisy here in the booth, but hopefully you can hear what I'm saying. So what we need to do, as I've already said, is to get in there and to get in under there. It's not terribly easy, but if you read all the information regarding your gun setup and the rest of it, you should know that you're looking at lowering the KV to get in those little Faraday areas. Now this is tight, this is 15mm, 10mm lip, it is very tight, but there is a way around it. So let me show you. What I've got my gun set at is 30 kV, 15 microamps. Now if you're using like a dual voltage or something like that, I would just bung it down to the lowest, which I think is somewhere around 15, something like that, or 20, I'm not sure. I've turned the feed all the way down, the air a little bit up, and that's just to force it in a little bit more. That gives quite a bit of air at the nozzle. The red is for the Corona guns, and I'm right on the upper end of my Corona gun, and the blue is for Trebo guns, but no need to discuss that in a minute. So there we go, we got this lovely blue, and I'm going to do my best to show you how to put it in there one-handed. So here we go. First thing I know about these guns is fire it and let it cough out its what's kind of built up in the pipe. Because what tends to happen is that the powder runs down, it sits down there. When you pull the trigger, you get a nice steady stream and then a cough. Hopefully I'll be able to show it. So, and typically on this occasion, no cough. So what we need to do is get in nice and tight along like this. I don't know whether you can see that. I hope you can. But we're getting it nice and tight like that. So we're kind of angling the nozzle up in like that. Right, now I don't know whether you saw that, but you can see we're right in there. I'll go over the other side and we'll do the same again. It's very, very difficult this. So, there we go. Get in those corners and see where the nozzle is. I'm just running it along that channel in no real rush. And then up the top, keeping a reasonable distance, but not too mad, because the KVs are all turned down. So I'll see if I can show you again from the other end, but it's going to be noisier down here. This is very difficult to watch and not mess it up, so please bear with me. So make sure we don't get a cough. Stick it in there, and then get that nozzle in there, but not too tight. What you don't want to happen is you do not want it to arc. And there we go, coming up here, so you can see. And I'm getting in all those tight Faraday areas. mainly because I've got the microamps turned down. Now when the KVs turned down, when the KVs are high, my machine will nearly coat this without touching it. But anyway, let's see if we can carry on and finish it. Make sure we don't get a cough. And there we go. So we start it there, and then we're running the nozzle down the channel, just like that. Hope we can see that. And then at the top, run the nozzle. Oh, sorry, there we go. Run the nozzle up in under the channel. And you can see that we're in there. You can't see up there, but believe you me, it's pretty well covered. Might give it a little bit more up there. Secret is to have your powder turned way down. Yeah, a little bit more up in under there. There we go. And now, simple panel pattern. So there's the cough. All we're going to do is go along here, this way, go along this way. So we're just painting the panel, painting the powder on, painting, 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 then an up and down, keeping a good distance, 6 to 8 inches, just let the powder float on. Yeah, and then just to make sure we haven't missed anything, we'll do a diagonal pattern, like that. And we'll go back with the other diagonal pattern the other way, cross hatch. Okay, and that is one panel done. We'll go around the other side, make sure that we take all our gear. Alright, and we do the same again. So, make sure there's no cough. There's the cough. Don't know whether you saw it. And let it go. Again, just paint it on. You want good coverage, but you don't want to go mad coverage because you're doing so many passes. What you're looking for is even coverage. So there we go. Just got that one crosshatch pattern. Just look at the distance my gun is from the work. I'll give you an idea. It doesn't need to be on tight. There we go. And that's that panel done. Now, get out here. Just let me hang the gun up. There we go. So, we've got in all those little areas, you can see, and in those areas, we're in underneath, no problem. And we've got a super nice even coverage all the way down the panel. Okay. So, whew, that's that bit. Hang on a minute, bear with me. There we go. Now we can see a little bit better. Powder got stuck to there. So there's a nice, straightforward covered panel. It's all coated in there, all coated up in underneath. And all that leaves me to do now is stick it in the oven, which I will show you going in the oven in a minute. Okay, so here's our panels. I've inspected them. Everything's fine. Just want to note that it's a little bit heavy there. I doubt you can see it. It's a little bit heavy there, but we'll just let that ride, as these are the insides of the panel. It's not super critical. But what I do want to show you, while it's a little bit quieter, is how my new temperatures setup works, and timer setup. So I've got it at 15 minutes, which is the cure time for the Interpon Chromadex powders. So what I'll do is that I can, by setting that, I change the red numbers to 15 and press the pause. Okay, there we go, and it's paused. I've got a pause button on it, wired into the Inkbird timer, which then in turn wires in to the SSD. Now you can see the PID is trying to fire it, but the timer, see it flashing there, pause, that intercepts the output of the PID, which is quite clever. Well, I think it's quite clever. And I've got a run and not switch here. That's just so that I can turn it off if I want to, turn it on when I want to. And that's pretty much it. You can set these just by using these up and down arrows. They're dead easy. There's nothing to it really. There's the reset button just above my orange finger. And this is set up all the same. The reason it's set at 230 and not 180 incidentally is I haven't found it to be wholly reliable, the temperature sensor. So I use one of those, which is still doubtful how reliable that is. But one thing I do is that I measure, that's my exhaust, and I actually measure that with a broken oven temperature. So when that reaches, my 180, I know at least the bottom of the oven's 180. But setting this at 230 is pretty much the average for the oven all the way up and down based on an old-fashioned thermometer. So maybe I'm doing something wrong. If anybody knows what I'm doing wrong, then let me know. I'd love to put it right, but at the moment it's not causing me any aggravation because I know how it works. So there you go. So what we'll do is we will stick the parts in the oven. I'm going to have to do this one-handed. I've got a baffle now down there, which helps an awful lot. There's the exhaust, which is all the way down, and I've got a little fan there. Although it's not much of a fan, it does chuck the air around. It's not the recirculating fan that I wanted. I'm still working on that. So let's see if we can get this in one-handed now. There we go. These are literally the parts I shot just now. So just caught a little stone there. So stick it in here. I designed these trolleys so I can keep them away from the baffled outlet. See, baffled outlet's there, my parts are here. So there it is, all set and ready to go at roughly the same height as the thermocouple. So what I do now, quite simply, press run, oven fires up. I wait for the temperature to rise a little bit, probably I don't know, 160, 170 or so, because it's quite hot in the oven. And then as soon as it's gone down because I've opened the door. So as soon as it creeps up a little, what I'll do then is just take the timer off and pause. Because the cure time's anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes, depending on sort of the material really, because we're looking for flow out. So flow out time for these thin bits of metal is very, very quick. You're looking at a few minutes, if that, in an oven, even at 150. So you can see she's barreling up quite quickly. So it's going to be a 154. And then as soon as I take it off of pause, so there we go, click, and now our timer's running. And then when that timer counts down to 0, it interrupts the SSD, turns off the blower, and that's it. You know it's done. I can wire in some 12-volt lights and horns and all kinds of things. I haven't got around to it yet. I will do it at some point, maybe show you in a later video. But that's pretty much where we are. So what I'll do is when the part comes out, looking like this, nice and shiny. Incidentally, this is a satin finish. So for people there that are saying that's not very glossy, it's because it's not meant to be. It is a satin finish. You can see that inside I've got all the troughs, top and bottom, got all the troughs. There we go. And the finish is meant to be that satin look. You can just about see the reflection of my facades. Camera's having difficulty focusing, but you can see there's the reflection look. You can see how cool that panel looks. And as I say, it's not a gloss, it is a satin, and it is meant to look like that. The image is broken up a tiny bit, but it's pretty flat, to be fair. And then inside this one, you can see it's the same. And that was all through those settings that I showed you on my gun. I just want to show you again. It's sort of crucial to be on the manual and have it set nice and low like that. or you will not get in those corners. I have tried, I have sworn, I have done everything I can. You will not get in those corners if you don't have the KVs down, the microamps down, and be a little bit clever with the angle of the gun. It's running along those grooves, kind of running along here, that works best. Now I'm sure somebody is going to give me a hard time about it, but that's generally how it works. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until the old timer counts down. See it counting down? So when that one there stops or gets close to stopping the oven, what I'll do is I will I'll swing back to it and I'll show you it working, as long as I don't forget. And here's a bundle of stuff that I've done in the last couple of hours. So yeah, been a busy day. So I'll get back to you shortly when we finish the bake. Cheers now. Here we are then. We're getting close to the bottom of the timer, and you can see that the PID is controlling the heater at the moment. And you'll see that as the timer ticks down, which it is now ticking down, what will happen is this will set 0. This will interrupt the heater, as in now, but you can see that the PID in a minute is still trying to do its stuff. So you'll see that the heater will come on as far as the PID is concerned in a moment, but the timer has interrupted it. So the timer's, there we go. Look. So the PID thinks it's now firing the heater because of the temperature. Because as the temperature drops, obviously the PID wants, there you go, down to 31, 231, and go to 230, but it's still trying to fire the heater. So I hope that kind of makes sense as the way this works. And then if you want to reset it, we can just hit the pause. We can reset it. And that will fire the heater back up, because now the timer on pause is handing control back to the PID. And we can just turn that off. So there we go. I hope that makes sense and you understand. It's not that complicated, to be fair. It just is sort of what it is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put on a glove, one-handed, and we're going to pull the part that we just put in just now. Well, actually, roughly, well, exactly 15 minutes ago. There we go. So let's just see if I can get my glove on. Oh, hang on, bear with me. There we go. Right, so here we go. So there's our part in the oven, all ready to come out. Let's open the door a little bit more. And we should have pretty much, as you can see, they're looking all shiny. They always look shiny when they're super hot like this. But they do, as they cool, they do go off. So there we go. Steering her out. Let's get to where the light's a little better. And you can see now, there we go, look, there's the panel all the way down. This one looks very, very good. And you'll see that we got in the channel, that side. See that? Right in tight. There you go. And the same underneath, not so easy to see, but we got in there as well. And this panel as well, all the way down the outside, is looking pretty good. So happy with that. And that's the last ones to do for this job. So kind of just a little bit of a recap really. It's just keep the KVs low. If you want to get in there, keep the KVs low. Get the gun where you want it to be. Get the angle of the gun right. All these little things do matter a lot. People say, "Oh, powder coating's easy. It's you know, it's easier than paint and blah blah blah." In some respects, it is, but in other respects, as I'm finding out, the learning curve is huge. It's too easy to put on too much powder, and you'll get like a horrible orange peel effect. I mean, it's way too easy to put on too much powder. I do it all the time. One thing I have noticed though is that with the Interpon powders is that they do tend to flatten out a bit. So if you've got a bit of orange peel, you can almost guarantee that it will flatten out. I mean, if you look at this panel here now, it's very difficult to see because the camera just won't focus on it. It is pristine, absolutely pristine. This one's looking a little bit ridgy, but I know that will flatten out. So this experience I've been rattling on about you know, you just got to keep trying till you get it right. This is what it's all about. And that's pretty much it for today. This is a bit of a long video, but I wanted to show you the whole process from start to finish. I've got this is one test one that I'm going to do something I want to try on this one, which is I want to just ramp up some KVs on it and just see if I can just play a little bit more, but I know it's going to fail, so I don't quite see the point in doing it, but it's just my curiosity. So there we go, that's my 2 racks. I was only doing 2 to the time, which is a complete and utter waste of time because I should have chain hung them, but these are for a new customer and I want them absolutely perfect, or as perfect as I can get them. So that's why they're like that. Okay, just a little note on the old powder coating booth. There's always a bit of sweeping up to do this powder coating booth. That Andrea filter is working brilliantly, but I've had 1, 2, 3, 4 lights installed. And boy, oh boy, what a difference that makes. You can actually see what you're doing, which really does make a difference. So there we go. If you like the video, please subscribe or give us a like or give us a dislike or whatever. If you do, give us a thumbs down. Let us know why. I'd love to be able to answer any questions. Like I say, I'm no professional. I'm being paid to do this. I'm being paid very well to do these panels because of situations here on site, and I'm enjoying it. It's a properly well paid job. It's worth me coming in on Saturday for. So like I say, please subscribe. I haven't got a lot of subscribers. I don't really mind. I just like to see the odd one every now and again. It inspires me to make more and more videos, and hopefully I can start teaching people now. Now I've sort of taught myself. I would really love to teach people. I'm trying to show this finish, but it's just the camera just can't focus. It doesn't understand it. Yeah, so there we go. Please stay safe. We are still in lockdown here in the UK. It's still a bit of a ball ache, but it is worth it, and I think it is. I think it is making a big difference. So, like I say, stay safe. Do what everybody's on, you know, the government are telling you to do. It does help. I'll say it again for posterity. I work here alone, so I haven't really got much of an issue. So there we have it. Excellent. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and take it easy. Cheers.